Okay? So let's go out and actually start running these scripts. Let's take a look and see what it does for us. So I'm going to launch, I'm going to move this over, I'm going to go ahead and launch my SQL developer. And it's going to do its startup routine, no big deal, doesn't take very long. As a matter of fact, if your machine is faster than mine, you're probably already done. And boom, here we are. So the first thing I want to do is I want to open up that company, what was that? Company define. So company define. I'm going to go over here, I'm going to click on the folder for open, and I'm going to go to my desktop, and I have my scripts folder, and I'm going to go company define. Now the nice thing is that the SQL developer is a text editor as well. And not only is it a text editor, it's kind of a special text editor. It's designed for developers. And so right here, I've already configured mine to highlight any comments in yellow. So I can have color coding associated to the text that I'm executing so that it tells me whether or not I've typed in everything properly. So I can always tell my comments, and remember, a comment is nothing more than something that the compiler is going to completely ignore. It's something for us, the human. And so here I have my command. It says drop table employees. So once you open up a text file, a SQL text file, you get a new toolbar up here. Let me zoom in on this. And so you have run statement. Now run statement says I've highlighted one statement and I want to execute that one command. So it might be echo off or echo on or select, whatever the case may be, but it's for one statement only. Well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to go through each one of these and do that. So instead, I'm going to go to the button next to that, and that says Run Script. And that says, okay, you've got a whole SQL script. You want to run everything soup to nuts from the top to the bottom. And it runs it just like that. And I don't know if you noticed the tooltip that was on there, but it said you can also press F5. So F5 is a shortcut key for me to execute this script. I have a bunch of other buttons up here. I also have to uppercase, lowercase, initial cap. I can also clear. And I also have my SQL history, so I can see a bunch of different things. So let me zoom out real quick. And the reason I'm zooming out is because I have all of my script right here, but then down at the bottom I have message logged. So the messages, any return message from the database, from Oracle, is going to get populated down here so I can see what's happening. So what I'm going to do is I want to run this. I want to see what it's going to give me. So I'm going to go up here, I'm going to click Run Script, and the first thing it's going to ask me, it says, all right, choose an existing connection or create a new one. So I want the connection, I'm going to use company, that's fine, click OK, and the next thing it's going to ask me is what's my password. Now the nice thing is keep in mind, it's going to prompt me for a password, but only for each session. Now what that means is it prompted me before when I opened up SQL Developer that first time, and it says, hey, I need to make sure that you're authorized to use this. Now if I had executed another command, it would have just said execute, it just would have run it because it already knew that I was authenticated. But this is the second time I've opened it up, so it's prompting me for my password a second time. So I'm going to type in password. And it says, all right, now I'm going to run it. And now I have my script output. I didn't get any messages. That's a good thing. And oh, I have a SQL error. Table of view does not exist. Drop table. Oh, that's no big deal. All right. So let's take a look at this real quick. Notice the first thing I get, it says error starting in line 13. And it says drop table employees cascade constraints. And it gave me the error. The reason it gave me an error is because the employee table doesn't exist. So there's nothing for it to delete. So it says, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. But then if you go down a little bit further, it says error, actually here. But then right here it says table employee created. So now if I ran it a second time, I wouldn't get that error message because the employee table does exist. So the thing that you want to keep in mind is when you're looking at this output, if you see error, find out what caused the error. And it says error in line 13. So if I cruise on down here, line 13, drop table employee cascade constraints. So it says, okay, I have a problem right here. But then it says, I'm going to create the employee table, and then right after that it says, all right, table employee created. So always look through that output to make sure that you didn't have any problems. So again, like I said, if I ran this a second time, I wouldn't get those error messages. It would look very clean. But I don't want to do that. So now I've created my tables. Now I'm ready to populate those tables. So to do that, I'm just going to go up here. I'm going to say open. I'm going to say company, not company drop. I want the company insert script. So I open that up. It says that I'm going to insert into employee. And so now I'm going to run this as a script. It says, all right, choose an existing database. Notice it did not ask me for my password. I've already been authenticated. And it says, all right, cool. It went to the commit. No errors. One row inserted. That's what I want to see. So basically, it shows me the command, the insert statement. And then if I scroll down, it says one row inserted. That's what I want to see. So it says, here's the command. It worked. So I'm good to go. And then the last thing I want to do is actually see my data. So I'm going to go to my company select. I'm going to execute. Yep. And here are all of my output records. Select from department, and here are all of my departments. Headquarters, administration, research. My D numbers for departments. My employees. So it's pretty cool. I've got everything that I wanted. And at the end it says clear column, so I'm good to go. I don't care about the electronics right now. Maybe we'll use electronics, maybe we won't, I don't know. But I definitely want to use the company, so I'm good to go with that. So now we've created some brand new tables, and we've actually populated those tables with data. And what's also cool, notice that up here on the top, every file that I opened up, it gets a tab. So I have company define, company insert, company select. And I can swap between them very easily. I can go over here to company insert. And so now, if I scroll down here, this is for my insert, company define, drop table, everything's good to go. I can move between those. I can have a lot of different files open simultaneously. And sometimes you're going to definitely want to do that. When you are, let's say that you're writing a brand new stored procedure for some table, and you've already created one stored procedure for that same table. Well, don't recreate the wheel. Open up that other stored procedure and cannibalize whatever you can. So you could open it up and you can see what's inside of that script, and you can copy and paste it and make a few modifications, and that, boom, you're done. So instead of spending 20 minutes or 30 minutes writing a brand new procedure, you might be able to do the same thing in about 5 by cannibalizing another one. And so you can see this by just looking at the different scripts. You could open them up and see what you want to see. So now let's take a look at what's available to us. SQL Developer, like I said, is very smart, and it keeps track of everything. So let's go over here. I'm going to zoom in. And when I expand company, it says, all right, I'm loading. It didn't prompt me for my password because I've already been authenticated. And if I go to my tables, it says, okay, I'm loading. And you're going to see about 1 million tables. Not really. You're going to see a lot of tables, but not necessarily the ones that we created. These are all system tables. Definitions, blah, blah, blah. But notice right here, I have a department. I have dependent, dependent to, employee. So here's my employee table right here. And if I zoom out, once I select employee, it shows me everything associated to that table. Pretty cool. So here are all of my columns. First name, what's its data type? Is it nullable? What's its default? What column ID is it? If I want to see the data, I go over here and I can click on the data tab. And here is all of the data that our script just basically posted it inside of that table. So John B. Smith. I can sort it. Do I have any constraints? Statistics. Do I have any triggers? Now triggers are things that we're going to be creating in this course. flashback, dependencies, partitions, indexes. Let's see if we have any indexes. No. And then any SQL associated to it. So here, check this out. Here is SQL that would create this table for us. Create table system.employee. So SQL Developer is a very cool program. Now, if you took the PL SQL Fundamental 1 course, I also showed you how to use SQL+. We could have done the same thing. We could have created those tables. We could have executed those scripts. We could have done everything in SQL+. And although it is an effective tool, it's not nearly as effective as SQL Developer, in my opinion. So we're not going to work in SQL+. We might do it every once in a while, maybe to do a quick spot check of something. But for the most part, we're going to be using SQL Developer for this course because it is a better tool for you to work in. It lets us see everything. It gives us an editor to work with. It gives us a lot of different tools in one stop. So we will be using this quite a bit. So get ready. Now, in this lesson, we've set up our environment. We've installed Oracle. We've installed SQL Developer. We've taken a look at SQL Developer. And then we use SQL Developer to execute our scripts to create our tables and also to input data into those tables. Now, if you wanted to, for the SQL or for the company insert, if you want to, look at that text for the employee table, and why don't you go ahead and put in your data in there. So copy one record, move it down, paste it down there, and then put in some of your information and run it again and see what you can get. You can do a lot of neat things. It's very simple, not hard at all, but you can do it if you want to. So now we have our system set up. Now we're ready to start working. So let's get ready to start working with some triggers and some store procedures and more fun stuff in this database.